All right, folks, let's see. Joining me now, it looks like we found Missouri Senator Eric Schmitt. We found him, had to pull him off the floor of the Senate. There's my favorite, Mr. Schmitt. Welcome. So let's just review the bidding here. So Tom Homan has pulled the ICE agents out. He's said he made 4,000 arrests, and he's satisfied that the job is done, at least for now. But the officials from Waltz to Jacob Fry and Amy Klobuchar are saying and tweeting very sarcastic, very nasty things, as always. And in Washington, D.C., the battle goes on. I see this nice and simple. I don't want to make this any harder than it needs to be. The Democrats want to defund and get rid of ICE, and the Republicans want to refund, and they want to defund sanctuary cities and refund ICE. That's the way I see this. Lindsey Graham and others, perhaps yourself, it's time to get rid of all these sanctuary cities, but the Democrats want to get rid of ICE. Somebody's going to win this and somebody's going to lose this, Senator. This is an election year, but that's sort of that's beside the point. Somebody's got to win this in law and order, and someone's going to lose this because they oppose the law and order. What do you know? I know you're on the floor. What are you hearing?
Well, listen, Larry, the American people, importantly, have already weighed in here. They saw the disaster that we had under Joe Biden, the 15 million people, not a million, not 5 million, 15 million people, including tens of thousands of murderers, hundreds of thousands of violent criminals were just led into this country. The American people said enough. They sent President Trump in to fix the problem, and that's what he's going to do. And there's nothing that the Democrats can do about it. We have front-loaded, Larry, ICE funding in the Working Families Tax Cut last summer, tens of billions for detention centers, tens of billions for deportations, and they will continue whether the Democrats like it or not. What happened today? Republicans voted to keep DHS funded, including FEMA, including TSA, including ICE. The Democrats voted no. Now what are they doing? They're literally right now, Larry, on a bus heading to a military aircraft to fly to Europe to the Munich Security Conference, where they can sip champagne with the other globalists there and badmouth the United States of America's foreign policy. That's what's going to happen in the next few days. And so, as for me, I'm going to continue to fight for American citizens. I'm going to continue to fight for a secure border. I'm going to continue to fight for deportations. The Democrats, we cannot allow them to win here because you're right. They want to kneecap ICE. They want to stop deportations. That's what this whole thing is about. They want everybody that came here legally to stay, and we can't have that happen.
They want open borders. I don't care what they say. They want open borders.
Absolutely.
They want to defund ICE. By the way, this is the same crowd that wanted to defund the cops just a few years ago.
Right.
Let's not forget that part of the calculus. But let me ask you something. We had Senator Britt on last night. Now, Lindsey Graham, he wants to end sanctuary cities, defund sanctuary cities, end sanctuary cities. President Trump told me when I spoke to him in the interview earlier this week, he agrees with Lindsey Graham. Was there a vote today on Lindsey Graham's amendment or what?
Yeah, Democrats voted to block it. I have the Protect America Act that would end sanctuary cities and also increase penalties for illegal entry and reentry, go after people who are attacking ICE officers and get rid of the NGO network. So Lindsey Graham and I have worked on those two companion pieces of legislation. I was with President Trump this weekend. We played golf together, watched the Super Bowl together. He's very committed to this. He understands how dangerous sanctuary cities are. And Larry, let me just explain for the audience what a sanctuary city really is. Here's how it plays out in real life. If an illegal alien rapist is released from prison, these sanctuary jurisdictions will not let ICE know so they can pick them up and deport them. They would rather have these people released into our communities to rape and murder than have them deported. That's how sick this ideology is. And so that's what we're up against, and we can't back down.
Well, I don't want you to back. I didn't realize that you were as involved as you were. Not to denigrate my old friend Lindsey Graham, but I'm glad, Senator Schmitt, you're on there in the front lines. You know, you got some serious bulk behind you, mentally and physically. So I'm awful happy to hear this.
Well, I am 6'6". I am a little taller than Lindsey, but we are working together on this, that's for sure.
I understand. I got my money on you. Let me just read you, though. I said this in the opening riff. Some of these snooty, snotty things that they're saying in Minneapolis. I mean, I know Tom Homan has good judgment, and I know he's working with President Trump. So I'm not, if Homan wants to pull the agents out now and feels the mission is accomplished for now, fine. I'm all okay with that. But here's what they're saying. It doesn't sound like roaring accomplices. Amy Klobuchar, whom I've known for a long time, she's a colleague of yours. I've known her a long time. She says Minnesotans stood together. They stared down ICE and never blinked. What is this? I don't understand any of that. Here's this guy, Jacob Fry. They thought they could break us, but a love for our neighbors and a resolve to endure? Endure what? Can outlast an occupation? These patriots in Minneapolis are showing it's not just about resistance. Standing with our neighbors is deeply American. No, it's not. It's deeply against immigration laws, for God's sakes. And, of course, this malicious village idiot who's still the governor, I mean, he was out making snooty remarks. I'll pack their bags and escort them to the airport. I'm just saying, you know what? Not a word of this, either in Minneapolis, St. Paul, or in Washington, D.C. Not a word from these Democratic politicians suggests they've changed or learned anything regarding sanctuary cities and ICE. Not a word. So I figure they're just going to go on their merit. It's going to be an election issue. Fine. Let's have it out once more time. Right? 100%. Trump had it out in 2024. He closed the border. He set up ICE. He put in Homan, who's the best of the best. Okay. Let's do it again. All over again in the midterm elections.
Yeah, and you know what? You know what they'll never mention? Laken Riley. They'll never talk about Laken Riley, who was strangled and murdered and raped by an illegal immigrant who, by the way, didn't have a previous quote-unquote violent conviction or wasn't they don't. I'm going to side with the American people. I'm going to side with American citizens here. We'll let the left continue to side with illegal immigration. They're the open borders crowd. They're willing to sacrifice sons and daughters of this country for this sickness, this sort of suicidal empathy that has captured the left and the Democrat Party. So we're on the right side here, but we have to keep fighting back. We have to keep fighting. What you'll never hear them say, you mentioned a lot of things they said, what you'll never hear them say is, you know what? Protest all you want, but let ICE do their jobs. And that's very telling because they don't want ICE to do their jobs. Right. They don't actually think people should be deported. They're trying to bring in new voters because they've lost the argument with the American people. They think they can import new voters to vote for them because it's all about power. It's not about empathy. It's not about caring. It's not about democracy. It's about not accepting the results from the 2024 election and thinking they can just aggregate raw power through any means necessary, and we have to stand against that.
Yeah, violating the law. That's all they want to do is violate the law. Anyway, Senator Eric Schmitt, thank you, sir. Glad you're on the front lines of this, and we appreciate it.